Welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live right here at Citizen Television, here with Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Gunjiri Wambugu and Nandi County Senator Samson Cherargei. Mheshimiwa Wambugu, let me ask you this. I feel there's a lot of shadow boxing going on here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe we are reading too much into this. Between the president and the deputy, neither one willing to throw a punch. Are we reading too much into this?
You are, Jeff, because what kind of punch would the deputy president throw at the president? You know, one of the problems we have as a country is that there has been a group of people around the deputy president who have been trying to impress upon him that he actually has a capacity to take on the president directly. They have been trying to get him to think that he can, just look like he can rebel against the president. There have been people like Cherargei, Senator Cherargei, my good friend, who believe that there is possibly another outfit outside the president that the deputy president has within Jubilee. I think it is important for all of us to understand at this moment in time, there is no other part outside Jubilee except around the president. Anybody within Jubilee who does not agree with the president is a rebel. And as we saw today, the Secretary General actually sent a letter to some of the senators who didn't show up last week. I also know that there are going to be some members of parliament who will be recalled because they have been acting against the interests of the party. So there is no deputy president position in Jubilee. There is only a president position in Jubilee. Anybody trying to create the possibility or the perception that it is possible for the deputy party leader to go against the president is actually lying to the deputy party leader. And part of the reason why the media thinks there is a fight between the president and the deputy party, between the party leader and the deputy party leader is this. There's a small coterie of people around the deputy president who have been going around imagining that they can actually be able to run an independent policy or an independent position against the one that is held by the president. That is not possible, not in the kind of political system we have in the country today. The president's word is law. And I have had my colleague, Senator Cherargei, trying to suggest that there has been a breakdown of law in some of the decisions that have been made. I am actually waiting for them to stand up and say where the law has not been followed. For example, yesterday in Senate, when the changeover was made from Kipchumba to Pogisio, the way it was done in State House is the same way Kipchumba got that position in 2017. Yesterday, I heard him somewhere on television, I think it was on Citizen, where he was saying he was elected. He was not elected by anyone. He was appointed the same way Pogisio was appointed yesterday. So this feeling that you can have a position that belongs to the deputy party leader and then have another position that belongs to the party leader is what has been the cause of the kind of small difficulties we've been having in the party. But fortunately now they are being cleaned up. I think everybody is going to understand there is only one position in Jubilee.
Senator, you agree or disagree?
By the party leader and the president.
What I can say, Jeff, is from what I'm observing from Ngunjiri, is that he looks like somebody who does not believe in what he's saying. On the issue of the disciplinary issue that has been summoned or someone of our colleague senators who did not attend the State House meeting, is that you have to know that State House is not the Jubilee Party headquarters. It is a symbol of national unity. The illegality that Secretary General Lafayette Tuju want to do is very unfortunate, because you remember in Kibra by-election, people like Ngunjiri Wambugu and Maina Kamanda committed very serious offense against the party by campaigning to a candidate that was not the Jubilee candidate. When we have a Jubilee candidate by the name McDonald Mariga in the Kibra by-election, Ngunjiri Wambugu and Maina Kamanda and the rest were busy campaigning against the Jubilee Party candidate. And therefore, I expected Secretary Raphael Tuju at that point in time to write disciplinary letters to Ngunjiri Wambugu and Maina Kamanda and other Jubilee renegades who are campaigning against our party. So when you see we can't apply double standards, this is impunity. Even myself, I never attended the State House chai and mandazi session that was done because I will never receive any invitation. The invitations were done selectively. I never received even a WhatsApp message or a missed call or any other form of invitation. So any decisions that were made in State House in putting in place the coalition members is very unfortunate, and it was illegal. And that is why some of us, Jeff, when you look at the Senate Standing Orders number 19 and number 20, it is very clear that when you want to elect a majority leader, you must come from the majority party. What was Senator Kibra, who is an independent candidate, doing in an election of majority leader? And then the party tribunal that ruled that KANU and Jubilee party coalition was not done within the law. And I've seen some people alleging that there was forgery because they saw 411. If you want to have 411, you only need to pay 50,000. Why don't they go to Judiciary website? So what I can urge my colleague, my brother Bujiri, is that let us always follow the law. The decision of trying to discipline the senators that did not attend, even the deputy party leader did not attend the State House meeting. I have not seen Secretary General Raphael Tutu writing any letters to us individuals who did not attend or any other people. So anything. And on the Speaker's ruling, you could, Jeff, you could even see or visit videos. You could see our Speaker's Senator Governor Kenneth Lusaka was also trembling. It showed that the gun was being held on his gun. And even he went ahead and read one page and said, I will give a real and a more detailed decision. Because, Jeff, you have to know that 2 senators have already contested by saying their signatures were forged on the list that came from State House. So let us stop this impunity and not following the law. Let us just respect the rule of law. And I want to urge my brother Wambugu by saying there is a cleaning. Why is it that the people who supported Jubilee with all their might, even some of those people, they lost their wives fighting for the vote so that President Uhuru Kenyatta could be elected? It means that when you supported Jubilee more, Jeff, the more you are being punished. And it is more of using political, either they are using political conmanship, they are also using entities like DCI and EACC. Those people who are perceived to have been stood by President Uhuru Kenyatta and perceived that have stood with the Jubilee in looking for votes. The same votes that they used to look for those votes are the same votes that are being used, being fought on them. So where I sit, I think what they want to do, and I'm surprised that Bujiri Wambugu would support such an illegality.
Mheshimiwa Ngunjiri, I'll give you a moment I'll give you a chance to reply in a moment. Just give me a second. Let me follow up on what the senator just asked right now. There's some critics who are saying that the president is being vindictive and vengeful for a man who helped him win an election twice in 2013 and 2017. What do you say to that?
What I can say is that
it would be important to see what it is that the president...
Senator, sorry, Mheshimiwa. Senator.
Was formed, and they decided to run together as a joint ticket. You remember the coalition that came together was for the benefit of the entire Kenyans. We wanted to bring everybody on the board. But from where I sit, those are just narratives that are being either developed by the people like Ngunjiri or some media or some individuals, because the vision that the deputy president and the president envisioned was to have a nation where prosperity, shared prosperity, could belong to all Kenyans. It was not about individuals. It's about the 40 million plus Kenyans to get services and delivery. And if the president will come out in the near future or strongly to say anything against, I think he will say it in the broad daylight. And therefore, where I sit, the president should discharge his duty. The deputy president should discharge his duty as the principal assistant, and we can have our country moving forward. Even as we talk even about all these issues, we need to agree on how the country should proceed for the shared prosperity of this. From where I sit, of course, there are so many signals that come from the people like Ngunjiri Wambugu who are saying they are insiders or they are doing cleaning or they are being vindictive. And the other day, the party leader, it was so sad to some of us when party leader presided a meeting where he decided to punish his own children in courts because Senator Murkomen and Senator Susan Kihika, all of them are like his children, because these are the same people who fought hard to ensure him that he was elected. So the signs are telling, and therefore we are looking at those signs with a lot of unfortunate scenario, because we didn't expect such situations as we formed Jubilee and as we formed the government, despite the many hurdles that we went through to form the government.
All right, Senator Mheshimiwa, you get a chance to for rebuttal.
I think that first, it's important to point out to Senator Cherargei that the country is actually progressing. The fact that a small group of them, including Cherargei and some people, might not be happy with the direction that the president is taking, The rest of the country is very happy because remember, for example, when the president reached out to the person who was his competitor, Raila Odinga, and brought him into a handshake that cooled down the country and stopped all the political temperature that had been rising, a lot of Kenyans were happy because the country calmed down. Right now, we're in the middle of a COVID crisis, and the president has been able to tap into the experience that some of the people who would be competing against him have and can bring to the table. People like Kalonzo Musyoka, people like Gideon Moi, people like Raila Odinga himself. So the country is actually progressing. It's just that a small group that includes people like Senator Cherargei are unhappy because they think that this progress is stopping their preferred political trajectory for 2022. And it is important for them to realize that this country cannot be held ransom by the ambitions of any single one of us for 2022. It's also important for me to point out that Cherargei needs to be factual. I never at any single time campaigned for any candidate in Kibra. For Kibra, I did not go and campaign for any candidate. So when he says that I was campaigning for other candidates, he's actually lying to the Kenyan public. It's also important for us to know something, that the laws that create a majority leader talk about the ruling party or the ruling coalition. Jubilee is operating as a coalition. And when the senator tells us that meetings should not be held in State House, he needs to remember that even the meeting that made Kipchumba majority leader for what he has and that he has been for the last 2.5 years was actually held in State House. That is a meeting that made Kipchumba majority leader, that made Susan Kihika the majority whip. These meetings were held in State House, and the president is not punishing any of his children. Even Kangata is one of his children. So the fact that he moved the majority leadership from Kipchumba and gave it to Pogisio, he hasn't punished anybody, because even when it was with Kipchumba, it could have gone to anybody else. I think it's important for this for Cherargei to stop crying wolf or trying to play victim here. The decisions the president is making are made according to the Constitution. Our Constitution gives the president the right to create coalitions, to reach out to people, to keep the country moving. I also need us to understand that at no point have I said I'm an insider. I do not know why Cherargei thinks I'm an insider. I am just a member of Jubilee, just like himself. In fact, he is in the upper house, as the Senate claims it is. So he is the one who would know some of these things. He's a chairman of a committee. And again, these are positions that were given because he's a member of Jubilee. At no point, he is a chairman of a committee. I am not a chairman of a committee. He is benefiting from the membership of Jubilee. I haven't had him saying that he's going to give up his chairmanship as a chairman, I think, of legal for the Senate, which he has gotten because he's a member of Jubilee. I think it is important for Senator Cherargei to be honest. This is not a fight between the president and the deputy president. Nobody is trying to undermine the deputy president. At no point has anything happened to the deputy president. He continues to serve as a deputy president. He has all the benefits of being a deputy president. Nobody has stopped him from doing the work that he should do as a deputy president. At no point. I have not even heard the deputy president complaining. I hear some of his political allies complaining, but the deputy president himself has continued to insist that he is okay and nothing is wrong between him and the president. So I don't know why they would assume that a decision to move Kipchumba from being majority leader is a decision against the deputy president or the deputy party leader.
Okay.
It is important for us to be factual. It is important for us to speak the truth.
Senator, I see you smiling and laughing throughout most of that. What's going on?
No, quick one on the progress of the country. If you know that the legacy so far and the performance of Jubilee has been the fighting within the party for the last 2 years. That is, and let me ask Ngunjiru Wambugu, because it is laughable that we have adopted the Big Four agenda. The Big Four agenda has been relegated into dustbin. And in fact, all this, even as we talk, the progress of the country, even during this corona pandemic, is that more people are losing jobs. We should be discussing on economic stimulus plan, on how to cushion farmers, on how to cushion traders. But the progress of the country has not been very impressive because, one, we have abandoned the issue of Big Four agenda. Now we are talking more than 210 lives, more than 230 lives have been thrown through flights. And the Jubilee as a party has been fighting for the last 2 years, which is the legacy. Secondly, he has talked about the handshake. It is very interesting because Ngunjiru Wambugu sits in the National Assembly, and you saw Minority Whip Junaid Mohammed complaining that the Jubilee government has failed and it should resign. Even in Senator Jeff, you saw Senator James Orengo alluding even the collapse of Sikiri Bridge in somewhere in Busia County, that one was the face of Jubilee. And therefore, when he says this handshake and the issue of coalition, Let me reiterate this and Kenyans to know, Jeff. When you look at Section 10 of Political Parties Act of 2011, when you look at the third schedule of political parties, it is very clear on coalitions that has been made. When you look at the Elections Act, when you look at Article 9 and even Article 32, 30 on the formation of coalitions on the Jubilee Constitution, it is very clear that the party leader does not have an absolute power to form a coalition. That even if it is pre-coalition or sports coalition agreement, it must be sanctioned by National Executive Council. It is not done by the party leader. Mark you, Jeff, you saw yesterday the Political Parties Tribunal has even ruled that the process of forming to a coalition between KANU and Jubilee Party, the law and the proper procedures provided under Political Parties Act, under Elections Act, even within the Jubilee Constitution and the Constitution of the country, the legal process and the procedure was not followed. So I want to call upon my brother, Mheshimiwa Wambugu, to be factual. In fact, when he talked about Kibra and the letters, he has fashioned himself as the team leader of JKLive. And one of his JKLive fierce defenders and his friend, minor commander, was campaigning for the Jubilee, for the NASA candidate when we already had Jubilee candidate. So the question should be, Ngunjiru should be telling us, why did the Secretary General of Jubilee Party by the name Raphael Tuju did not write a letter to his comrade in the JKLive faction to show cause as to why he was campaigning for another party?
Senator, he just said he wasn't.
The fact that we gave Raphael Tuju to be the chairman or to be the Secretary General of Jubilee, he has a responsibility to do. Because even where I come from, when you have cows, the person who will be the chairman of the cattle dip must be determined by the number of cows that you have.
Okay, we can go back and forth on this Kibra issue. We don't have time for that. Mheshimiwa Ngunjiru, let me ask you this.
Yes, we do.
Are we looking at a coalition government down the line?
Actually, no. I don't think we are looking at a coalition or anything, Jeff. What we are looking at is a united country working together between elections. And it's interesting that Senator Cherargei would have a problem with the president forming coalitions to work and implement his legacy. Because the president is very categorical. He is not forming coalitions for elections. He is not running for election. So right now, bringing everybody on board is bringing people to serve and to come and support the Jubilee agenda, of which Cherargei is a part of. So I find it very interesting when I listen to him having such a passion against the decisions that the president has made. He has brought in KANU as a member to come in and work with Jubilee. He's brought in Raila and ODM to come and work with Jubilee. Why would anybody who wishes Jubilee well, or who has the interest of the party at heart, have a problem with other people coming to join us to actually implement the policies and the promises we made to the Kenyan people? Because that is what the president is doing. He's bringing people to come and help him work. But then we have a few people who are supposed to be the ones assisting the president, who are supposed to be at the core of the president's agenda, who have a problem with that. And this is something that Kenyans need to keep asking themselves. The president is not running for office. The president is not forming a coalition to run for office. The president is bringing members of different political formations on the table so that everybody works to serve the Kenyan people. However, there are some of our colleagues in the president's party have chosen to see this as something that is negative. So the question would be, why would anybody have a problem, for example, in Gideon Moi and KANU coming to work with Jubilee? Gideon Moi is not going to become the deputy president. Gideon Moi is not going to take Cherargei's chairmanship of the legal committee in Senate. Nothing changes. He doesn't take anything away from those of us who are already in Jubilee. In fact, he comes to add, even if it's just 7 numbers or 3 senators, to support the president's agenda in the House. So we have people coming and saying, we want to work with the president. We want to work with your party leader. And then we have people within the party saying, no, do not come. Don't come and work with us. You stay outside. And then not only do they just say that, they then go ahead and insult the leaders that the president has actually reached out to bring on board. They call them wagangas. They call them witch doctors. And you ask yourself, our party leader has decided of his own initiative and as president to bring his competitors on board. Why would you want to stop that from happening. And he is not bringing them to come and do politics. He's bringing them on board to come and work. These are the questions that Kenyans need to ask.
Sure.
What is it that Cherargei doesn't want to happen? Why doesn't he want the president to bring other people on board?
All right, gentlemen, we can play, hold on, Senator. We can play ping pong all evening. There's some questions here from the audience. Let's answer a couple of them. Jasper Obiri is asking Senator Cherargei, will Jubilee Party still stand, or I guess he means still be around in 2022?
Do you want me to answer?
Yes, I do. Well, he does.
Of course, Jubilee, without if all of us, as I said, Jeff, early today in the show, that Jubilee, the foundation of Jubilee is very strong. And therefore, it will outlive even up to 2022. And even the deputy president, and I want to correct this, the deputy president said a year ago that even as Jubilee goes into the future, he will subject himself as a member of Jubilee Party to the nomination process to become the presidential candidate in the future elections. He has not said that it is a must, and he has said it is as much. On the issue of coalition, Jeff, I want to urge my brother, because I'm the chair of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights in the Senate, let me advise him and give him free legal advice. What I was just saying is that let us follow the law. Under Article 32 of the Jubilee Constitution, it says that the people who ratify the resolutions on formation of coalition is National Executive Council. When you look at Section 10 of Political Parties Act, when you look at the third schedule, there is a process on how we form pre-coalition and post-coalition. Then why does Ngunjiri don't agree that let us follow the procedure, let us follow the law? That is what we are just saying, even if we have to bring our friends on board. And let me ask a question, Jeff, we are 35 Jubilee senators in the Senate. There is no government business that has ever failed. There is no additional, bringing only 3 KANU senators into the fold is very unfortunate, and fighting women. That they want now women senators are being written letters that they are being told they will be punished. That is a desperate move. That is very illegal. And therefore, I want to urge Ngunjiri that let us follow the law. That is what we are just saying. Let us follow the rules and procedure governing political democracies in the country.
Mheshimiwa Ngunjiri, I have a question for you. I know you're writing some notes, but there's a question from Chep Kok, okay? I think it has to do with this, actually. Kindly ask Ngunjiri, did the removal of Majority Senate Leader and Majority Whip, did it follow Jubilee Constitution?
The simple answer to that is yes. Because the appointment of the Majority Leader who was removed followed exactly the same process that this particular current Majority Leader in Senate, Pogisio, was appointed with. And then there's also something I would like to point out to my brother, Senator Cherargei. He is a good lawyer, as you can see, and he's a chairman of the Legal and Justice Committee in Senate. And if you are that good and you think there is a mistake being made somewhere, you don't exaggerate the mistake or create obstacles along the way. If you actually wish well for the party, what you should be doing is offering to help ensure that we achieve the objective, because the objective is to bring everybody on board. The objective is to make Jubilee everybody's home. It would be really nice. I mean, if everybody accepted to be a member of Jubilee, as much as people will say that is not democratic, our role is to build the party and make it better. Our role is to work with everybody who wants to work with us. So if you think there is something that has been done that wasn't done the way you think it should be done, rather than run to the courts, rather than run to the tribunal, what you should actually do is write a small note to the Secretary General of the party and tell him, boss, I understand that you're trying to bring in the party and you're trying to bring in KANU into a coalition, and there are only 3. I don't know why Cherargei thinks that having 3 additional members in Senate is not important. Every single person we get who comes to support the policy of the president is important, even if it's just one person. So the fact that 3 KANU members joined the president's party is really, really important. We should not look at them with contempt.
Okay, follow-up question for you. Hold on, Senator. I'll come to you, Senator. There's a follow-up question for Mheshimiwa. Oh, okay, he's frozen a little bit. Okay, Senator, go ahead. What were you saying?
In fact, I want to follow up on what my brother Mheshimiwa Ngunjiri has said, that if you have an issue that you want to share with the party secretariat, you are willing to. That is why for the last 3 years we have been calling upon for parliamentary group meeting. The reason we have been wanting to have a PG for the last 3 years is so that we can have a consultative forum where some of these issues can be discussed. But when you see the cabals within the party that they want to destroy the party, they don't agree. When they say we need to write a note to the Secretary General, that is why. What was the role of National Executive Council? What is the role of National Delegates Conference? What is the role of parliamentary group meeting? Those are the caucuses, or those are consultative meetings, Jeff and Kenyans, that we would have need to have a discussion. Secondly, he has noted that we needed the Deputy Secretary General, the sole member of Parliament, Honorable Caleb Kositany, has always tried to even consult and even write letters to the Secretary General that anything that he has been trying to do is illegal. And that is why you saw over 146 members of Parliament and more than 10 or 20 friends of the standing with the democracy of the political parties wrote to the registrar of political parties 2 weeks ago or 1 month ago protesting against the one-man show in illegal changes of Central Management Committee of the Jubilee Party. So from where I sit, Jeff, I want to say that we need this meeting so that some of us can be able to channel our issues, as Wambugu Ngujiri has said. Even he should, in fact, he should even, I can see Ngujiri might be more closer and might be more how you can just write a note to the Secretary General. You should also advise him that the decision that he has made to write letters to some of the Senate colleagues who are nominated members of Jubilee is very retrogressive, and it should not be allowed within the party.
All right, Senator Samson Cherargei, thank you so much for your time. That'll have to be it for now. Good luck, and thank you for being with us tonight. Unfortunately, Mheshimiwa Ngujiri, he just froze away.
It's too hot. You should use the fire extinguisher there. Getting hot.
Thank you, Senator. Nashkuru sana. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. And apologies for the technical hitch-up with your picture. Okay, let's take a look at more feedback. Engineer Lazaro says, what we are witnessing is normal at this time of political transfer windows. Expect more to come with the strange realignments. More tweets coming in thick and fast. Kurui Justine says, this breakup was inevitable. Let the politics continue, but let's be honest with each other. That's right. All the shadow boxing that's going on. Noriega 22 says, Jubilee members allied to DP Ruto are beating around the bush when it comes to the rift between the president and his deputy. The ugly divorce between the two is in public domain. The denial within Tanga will make the matter worse. Move on. More tweets. This is Edudi 25254 says Ruto allies in Jubilee should rethink and refocus when there is still time. More tweets. Ongombe Martin says, why is it always perceived that Ruto helped H.E. Uhuru to be president and not vice versa? One more. Rashoka Sam says, our party is an institution, not someone's thing. Jubilee is an institution. Unfortunately, the president is making it seem as his own. The president should consult other party members, including the deputy party leader, in making decisions. Jubilee is dead, according to Sam Gashoka there. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLive. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. I don't know where we go from here, but all I can say is stay tuned. In the meantime, let's meet back here next week, same time, same place. If it's Wednesday, you know it's all about those 3 letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Stay home, stay strong, stay safe. Good luck. God bless.